everyone. Well, today we are very excited because we're going to be speaking with Jared Mathis, who is the CEO of the Moulton Family Foundation, and Catherine Bryans, who is the Chief Communications Officer of our very own History Center. And they're going to be talking about a wonderful and unique collaboration that they're involved in to celebrate our History Center's 40th anniversary. Jared, I'll start by asking you a question.
Okay.
And that is, please help us to understand, because I think the residents of Laguna Woods Village have an understanding and an awareness of the Moulton family name.
Sure.
At least because we drive on Moulton Parkway every day.
I do too.
Do you?
Yeah.
And we may know the Playhouse and the Laguna College of Art and Design, but please help us to understand the really deeper connection that the Moulton family has with Laguna Woods Village.
Happy to do it. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And Nellie Gail Moulton and Louis Moulton, they were my great-grandparents, and they owned the Moulton Ranch, which included the ground that we're sitting on today. And they had the ranch for about 70 plus years, from 1895 to 1975. But the first development of the ranch was this very property, which was Leisure World at the time and now Laguna Woods.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and now I understand that Nellie Gail Moulton, who is your great-grandmother,
Yes.
actually lived here.
She was a resident, yeah, absolutely. She spent the last part of her life here as a resident, and she loved it, yeah, absolutely.
And oh, what a life she had. I mean, I did a little research on your great-grandmother, and my goodness, she was a woman ahead of her time. She was a
Yes.
philanthropist, a world traveler, an
Yes.
educator, a family matriarch.
Yeah.
She was not only an accomplished artist herself, but a patron of the arts.
Yes.
I mean, and
Yeah.
you were telling me some other things about her as an
Yeah.
adventurer.
Well, yeah, sure. No, she was definitely ahead of her time. She and it's a lot to aspire to. And she's been inspiring to me and certainly to my daughters and hopefully to more people as we bring her story out. But, you know, she grew up in Kansas. She was a teacher, an educator, and then ended up here in Orange County because her dad was the store merchant. He ran the El Toro General Store. And she would come in the summers and help with the store when she wasn't teaching. Anyway, that's how she met Louis Moulton, and she was here. And she was a fair amount younger than Louis. And after he passed in 1938, she was able to do more in the community and be involved in the art world because she was just a lifelong painter. She loved plein air art. And so she was able to dedicate time to that, and then also building institutions that you had mentioned earlier. The Laguna Playhouse, the Laguna College of Art and Design.
Chapman University.
Chapman University, she was able to get a building done there. And actually, all the property that is Nellie Gail Ranch in Laguna Hills,
Yes.
she donated that to Chapman, and that's why she ended up with a good relationship with them, and they sold it and made it Chapman University after that.
I see.
Instead of Chapman College, yeah.
Well, now you're mentioning her art. That brings us to asking Catherine about the connection of the art.
Yes.
You are going to be sharing some of Nellie Gail Moulton and Jane Barnes, the artwork that they have produced, and it's going to. Catherine, can you tell us how that's going to be involved in the celebration?
Well, it is a celebration of our 40th anniversary, and it couldn't happen at a more opportune time to be contacted by Jared and talking about his family, and we went, oh my goodness, this is a great thing to bring in this community because there's so much history of the time before we were here and who we have become since then, and talking about the fact that Nellie Gail was a resident and used it for her art studio, and at that time there really wasn't much out here in terms of services because it was the very first one. But we're just thrilled to be a part and make this a part of this wonderful 40th year where we've been collecting information and preserving it for 40 years.
Yes. And I think it's important to understand that the Moulton family were visionaries. I don't know of other planned communities that were designed for older residents. So is this an exceptional thing?
I certainly think so. They were certainly proud of the development, the first development on the ranch. While they weren't the ones behind the actual construction of everything, it was the first sale, the first piece, which was a very personal thing, and they wanted to make sure that it was to something that they could buy into, and certainly this fell into that vision. So yeah. Absolutely, I think they had a good vision of what they wanted to have here, and they'd be thrilled, to know that I'm here today, and we're doing this with the History Center as
Exactly.
well. I mean, this artwork of Nellie Gale's hasn't been seen by the general public for at least since she died almost 50 years ago. And I'm guessing, based on the documents that I've seen, maybe 60, 70 years ago is the last time anybody saw a public exhibition of her artwork. So we're really excited to be working with the History Center on
Yes,
this.
yes. And you said that Nellie Gale herself traveled around the globe a couple of times and took back all of these other cultural experiences and brought them here, and it sort of framed her thinking as a visionary.
Yeah, many of her sketches were done abroad, in Japan and different places, and a lot of the furniture and just pieces of artwork that she brought back, we now have within our family foundation. So eventually, hopefully, sometime in the next year to 18 months, we'll be able to put that on public view. That's the whole purpose of putting the foundation together.
Oh, good. That was my next question. When can we see all of these things?
Yeah, well, we've got a professional archival team working on that now, making sure that we do this the right way. I give all the women in our family the credit. Charlotte, my grandmother, her sister Louise, daughters to Nellie Gale. Those three women kept everything from the family because I think they knew that it was going to be important to keep that because it was such a special time. Thankfully, they did. Now we're going to honor that by archiving it the right way and bringing it out to the public for education, interest, all the rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Catherine, you know, because of being there with the History Center, the number of people who come in and want to learn about our hometown now. It's our hometown, Laguna Woods Village. And this is a big piece of it, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's why we call it our History Center.
Right.
Because it really is ours. And it's been put together and preserved by volunteers all these years, these 40 years. It's all volunteers. They raised the money to build the building. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity for us to move out of just maintaining the day-to-day history, which we do, but look at what we were before we became Laguna Woods Village.
Yes.
I mean, an extraordinary family stayed together, seen great pictures of the whole family together, and when you come on the 24th of October for our open house, you will be able to see a lot of photos from his family and some film and things that we've been working on putting on our computers and our screens. And so there'll be a lot more than just this incredible artwork by both these ladies.
Right.
We're going to showcase them because we think it's important that this community knows that they can go on and find out more as his foundation develops more and more. And I think even down to having some carriages and things of that sort. I mean, it's going to be quite a production, and we're happy to do that. We will be showing them from the 23rd of October to the 3rd of November.
Yes.
And then we will be returning them for the safekeeping in Jared and his family. And for that, and some of the pieces that were being brought to us were from families that generously allowed both you and us to have them on display. So you're going to find pictures there that you may not see in the foundation when it gets all up and running. So we're looking forward to that. It's important for an organization like us to stay in tune with other history and other organizations and museums in our community, and it's just one of those ways that we can reach out and bring this incredible experience of what was today.
Yes, and I think, Jared, you mentioned that there's an ongoing conservancy. You're looking for artifacts and other things that, reach out and help us understand the history of Southern California and Orange County specifically, whether they're functional things or beautiful decorative things, anything that helps us understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the things, from saddles to ropes to farm implements to artwork to pearls to who knows what, but even just the architectural diagrams of the residences that were built on the old ranch property, and we're working with a number of different organizations. But I got to tell you, Laguna Woods and the History Center do a bang-up job. The group of volunteers, the dedicated work that they do. We toured the facility there, and you're really lucky to have them as an asset here, and we're just thrilled to be working with them, and we hope to build similar relationships with other cities and other organizations around South County to be able to bring that history to life for the next generation. And it's our time to do it now.
And let me just add to, speaking on behalf of the Laguna College of Art and Design, we're talking about history here, but the Laguna College has moved everything forward. They started off as a fine art college and have produced some of the best fine artists in the world, but they're into animation and game design and all of these things that are so future oriented. I mean, they're training the artists of tomorrow.
Yeah, and Nellie Gale, who was a resident here, was a founder of that college, and I think that she would be very pleased to see the direction because they've never lost the foundation of the critical key parts of being an artist, and that is the foundational work, the fine art, because all that makes you better at the other things like graphic arts and design and so forth. So yeah, the school has come a long way. I'm thrilled and honored to be the chairman of the board this year. And it's just amazing. I think of Nellie Gale smiling down.
Oh, I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is. Well, I cannot thank you enough, Jared, for coming in and bringing in these beautiful art pieces to share with us, and we will be sharing them with everyone, and to support our wonderful History Center. And I know, Catherine, you feel the same way, how delighted you are.
And it's a delightful opportunity for both myself and the other volunteers, as well as, you know, this is a community that supports its artists through its own program here. In the building are all local artists here in the village, and so I think there's going to be a tremendous response and sort of a need to see this work because it hasn't been out there. So we're certainly inviting everybody to come. Between those that mostly our hours are a little limited because we don't have that many volunteers to keep the doors open all the time, but we're going to try at least 10 to 2 during the week. And of course, everybody's invited to come to the open house.
And that is on the
24th of October from 2 to 4 p.m. at the History Center. A little wine and cheese to go along with art.
You're going to have a line out the door.
We probably are. And that's the best thing we could expect.
Oh,
we want them out the door.
I'll be there first in line. Thank you
too.
so much. Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be there.
Absolutely. The family
wonderful.
representatives
we'll have
will be
some
there.
Of the family there as well. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Great.
We'll all be there. Thank you so much for coming in today, Jared.
Great to see you.
Thank you.